Right, what's good, everyone? What is good?
What is good
Today?
today?
We talking about that what? That
Trauma.
That came from your mama and caused all that drama you're going through right now. Hello. Trauma Talk. Then you rock with the MVP, y'all. Come on now. Come on now. Y'all know where to find me. Innovator Twist, and you know they can't miss. Hey. Yeah, so we bringing back that Trauma Talk, y'all. Again, I told y'all we was going live today, 12:30 to 1:30, talking about the book Childhood Scars, best-selling book. I want to add. And so you can again find it on www.auntiesand.com. That's where you can purchase the book and also get the workbook as well, because you need both. You need to also find out about your trauma and use the workbook to replace the trauma with positivity. So again, you won't keep going through the same things, and you can take control of these trauma triggers that do come on. Again, we have Miss Dr. Sandra Robinson in the building, y'all. Auntie Sand, your favorite auntie. She is here with us as a traumologist. Again, we don't know if that's a classification, but we made it as a professional. So she's going to give you some answers in regards to her book. And I said what to expect in regards to chapter 18 and 19. Again, 18 is inner healing. And number 19 is teach me how to love me. Woo! That hit me right there now. That's what we need, y'all. Teaching me how to love me. So we're going to start over chapter 18, y'all. All right. So the first thing that came to my mind in chapter 18 says, clear your mind of emotional blockages. Now, many of y'all might not know what that is. You might even thought you had an emotional block. Can you talk a little bit about that for the people about emotional blockages?
Emotional blockages is when you have encountered a situation that really triggered you emotionally. That means that you just start feeling certain things that are not out of the norm. I mean, like right now, my normal presentation, my normal feelings, it's just what we say normal, because this is basically how I am on a regular basis until something triggers me and I become abnormal. And so that's something we have to learn about with trauma, because trauma is a sudden reaction to something that is not a normal process. It throws you out of your norm. And everyone has a definition of norm per themselves. I mean, no one functions and have the same attitude, behaviors, and emotions. So your emotions actually comes from how you feel about a certain thing. And no two people feel the same way. And that's why it really behooves me when people say you're over emotional. No one is over emotional. Everyone has a norm. And so when something happens, they respond to the norm according to their previous experiences. No two people are going to respond to the same way. I mean, I don't want to be too vivid here, but let's say someone slapped you. If you used to being slapped every single day, that won't even faze you. But someone else may really react to that because that is out of the norm. And so when you say emotional blockages is where you really emotionally block out your norm. So you stay in that emotional state. And some people may say, well, what is an emotional norm? I mean, when you wake up in the morning, you do your normal routine, you're not all triggered and just out of your norm. Your normal process is that let's just say you function normally at 70%. So if something happened that actually throws you into a state of mind that brings you below the 70% or above the 70%, we say that's an emotional blockage, because you're not allowing yourself to get out of whatever's affecting you at the time.
That's very, very again, because you're blocking them emotions from the
That's
emotions
right.
make you better. Because it
That's
makes it give you the real feel of a situation and what you're going through. But again, as we was talking about off camera, as men, it's really hard for us to understand emotions.
Yes.
Because emotions are very, I don't say foreign to us, but we feel them in a different way.
Yes.
Because situations where, again, like you said, a woman would expect us to have emotions, but we don't come with that. That's when, again, that's where the conflict is, and that's how, again, you get your emotional blockage can happen.
Yes. What the blockages do is they actually protect us when we try to suppress or avoid our emotions resulting from painful traumatic events. Now, you all do have emotions from trauma, but you all are not emotional beings. I mean, we all are, let me rephrase that. We all emotional beings. That's not correct. Excuse me, but we don't. Men have a less emotional being than we do. I mean, emotionally, as a woman, we have certain emotions that is part of being a woman that we react to. Men were taught not to have emotions, so they have a lot of suppressed emotion, and so a lot of things that, if they kind of keep inside, whereas we tell the world, or we respond or act accordingly. And so, and where do you get all of these emotions? Because it's, like I said, they're abnormal. Yeah. Part of the healing process is clearing the mind and emotional blockages. So it is the time to take control of your life, and allow your emotions to feel the pain of the trauma, identify the pain of the traumatic event, and realize you need inner healing to take control of your life. So how do I blot out the blockages? Well, the workbook is a good way to help block out the blockages. That means you replace old traumatic events and experiences with new events in your life. And as you start doing more of the healing process and start doing things that are more healthy in nature, then you block, and they don't go away, but you have so many new healthy events that you're no longer replaying the old events in your mind daily.
Yeah, that's something that you talk about, how trauma is you're playing the same situation over and over again, and you reliving it every single day.
And then some people get comfortable living in that. Because if you were traumatized by something, and let's say you were a person that never really got any attention, and here all of a sudden you had this traumatic experience, and then everybody's calling you every day, and then you're getting all this attention from that. And although it was a very painful experience, because of the positive attention you get, you keep laying in that.
Yeah, exactly. Because like you said, I know when you say that to start the healing process, you got to face your reality.
You have to face it.
You got to.
You have to face it. It says right here, give yourself permission to heal. The traumatic event happened without your permission. And now it is with your permission, time to permit yourself to heal.
Because you're taking control.
You're taking control, and you're telling yourself, you're telling your mind, your body, your spirit, I'm taking control now. When the traumatic experience happened, it was beyond my control, but I'm going to control how I'm going to respond to the emotions that I've incurred according to that situation. Yeah,
because all about, again, reprogramming your brain.
Yes.
Because your mind doesn't know the difference between past, present, and future.
That's right.
It goes off your emotions and how you feel, and that's how your mind processes things.
That's right.
So when you reliving those old emotions, your mind just gonna keep you stuck in that past.
That's right.
That's all you're gonna be used to.
That's right. And we all do. We all do, including myself. I mean, depending on the trauma I experience is going to determine how long. And that is because of the familiarity of what happened. If it's something that triggers me and it's from a previous experience, I'm going to now internalize it even more, because now I don't trust that it won't happen again. So now, because it has reoccurred, I don't trust that it's going to happen. It's not going to reoccur again.
That's right.
So how do I stop it?
I
have to get to the point where I heal first. And as I start the healing process, then when something alerts me, don't go there, I won't go. When something alerts me and say, don't respond to that, I won't respond. Because my mind is controlling those triggers. And it doesn't happen overnight. You have to really heal and start the healing process to manage those emotions that causes an action. And like I have in my book that's coming up on relationships, every action you take has a reaction. And that reaction is beyond your control when it concerns someone else. Even some of the actions that I take is beyond me when it's a reaction. I mean, sometimes I cannot go back and do something differently so that I can have a more positive reaction from it. So therefore I have to suffer the pain of that of that action. So you have to always remember, if I take this action, there is going to be a reaction.
Always.
That's law.
Yeah, that's law.
Mm-hmm.
That's a universal law.
That's
any
a universal law.
A positive, negative reaction.
That's right.
But again, if you have things set up in a like positive triggers set up,
Mm-hmm.
you'll have a more positive outcome in that situation.
That's right.
Because again, like you said, things are going to draw you back to your trauma at
That's
any
right.
time in life, at any point. It could be just a conversation from with your boss, where your boss might be coming down on you a little hard. It might bring you back to when your mom was talking to you like that,
Mm-hmm.
telling you might not be good enough, or
Mm-hmm.
you just it triggers.
That's right.
And that's why you want to make sure again you're doing the workbook as well, because we're going to talk about the importance of the workbook, because that's going to replace that negativity with positivity.
That's right.
The only way to be the negative is with the positive.
That's right. And sometimes people just lay into the negativity, those traumatic experiences, because again, it rattled their normal experiences.
Mm-hmm.
And so they, for a while, it is a time and a season for grieving. So you do suffer some, but as soon as you can heal from whatever happened, the healthier you're going to be.
Mm-hmm.
People, it is serious to suffer with trauma or internalized trauma,
Mm-hmm.
because it affects the organs. You have to remember that the organs in your body has a normal function.
Mm-hmm.
So when the trauma is prolonged, it causes other illnesses and major situations to occur in your life that are life-threatening. So you have to remember, yes, it's unfortunate. And I want to share this today. Everyone has some unfortunate things that happen in their life.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if everyone's a Christian that's under the sound of my voice, but in Ecclesiastes it states 8 that there is a season, and then you're going to have different seasons, different things in your life that is traumatic. And it doesn't say traumatic, but it does talk about the different things and the different seasons. Mm-hmm. And you're going to have to get to the point where it happened. I'm going to just base it today or tomorrow, but on the third day Jesus got up, I have to get up and deal with this situation.
That's right.
And take a step, because not taking action is not going to change anything. It's just going to prolong the traumatic experience.
Yeah, it's coming back to, again, like you
exactly.
said, you got to heal those scars, because if you don't, you're going to bleed on someone else.
That's right.
And that's something that you don't want, because you're passing your trauma on to the other people.
You are passing it on. You're passing it on. A lot of times you may have a situation at work, and you cannot retaliate. So a lot of times people say, "Oh, I can control my emotions." Yes, you can.
Yes, you can.
That if you do react, then what's going to happen? You're going to get fired.
Yep.
So you do know how to control it, what we call suppress anger.
Mm-hmm.
So you do know how to do that. But then you get home and you want to let it out, because you're used to letting it out. You've held it in for so long. So you're used to letting it out. And who gets it? Your children or your spouse? Or your partner.
Yep.
Someone is going to get it, because you have to let it out. Well, what I do is, when I have certain situations, because they occur to everyone, I get out my phone, my little tape recorder on there, and I start talking, and just like I'm talking to the person, and I tell them exactly how I feel, because you know what? The healing process is hearing yourself heal.
Right.
So as I'm talking through it, and then a lot of time I replay it, and I can tell you right now, 99% of the time when I get home, my behavior has changed.
Yeah, because you got to.
I've let it out. All you want to do is let it out.
All you want to do is let it out in a positive way.
You just want to let that out. And so really, when you record it, on your recorder, you can say whatever you want to. Now, I'm against using curse words, but you can say, you're talking to yourself. No one hears but you.
That's right.
And I tell all of my clients, get that. You have it on your phone.
Mm-hmm.
Just hit that little button and I just want to tell her. Yep. Tell her right there on that phone. Mm-hmm. Record it, so every time you want to tell her again, replay it. You're telling her.
That's right.
You are telling her. But 99% of the time, we stay captive in our emotions for saying things, because no one is going to let you just say anything you want to say to them without retaliation.
That's right.
So here it is. You took an action. Yep. Here comes another reaction, and that person is going to say something that's going to trigger you more. So now you have a compound trigger. That means you already was triggered. You go ahead and you approach that person, and then that person is going to do what? They're going to respond negatively. And so now you're going to hear even more of the person, how they feel about you than you heard previously. So I call it a compound trigger, because guess what? Now you have compounded with the trigger that you'd already have. And then now you're going to even get more trauma into your life, when you could have just picked up that recorder, recorded, say what you need to say, calm down, and then if you feel that you need to talk about it at the time that you're the most calm, and make sure that that person is too. And the minute that person tone elevates, stop.
Yeah, it said that in the book as well, because you did recommend in the book to either get a tape recorder, you can use the voice memos on your phone, or you can record yourself. Just express how you feeling at that time, and then start taking notes and looking at it, see how you really react to the situation. Because like you said, the person, you said this in the book as well, the person that's calm in the situation is considered the one that be winning. Because again, you keep your emotions in check, so you give out just information.
Well, how do a person know, and really, how do a person know that what they said that was harmful for you really was effective? They don't know until you tell them.
Yeah.
And how do you tell them? By reacting to it. I have tuned myself out to about 85%. I still got 15% more to go, but 85% I ignore. Wisdom comes from how much you can ignore, not how much you can confront. Because when you confront, and I got that from Mike Murdoch, some in his book. So Mike, if I get any proceeds from this, I'll send it to you. But wisdom comes from how much you can ignore, not how much you can confront. And I'm going to tell you right now, that right there really saved my life. Because why? How much I can ignore? Because I take control of my power. I take control of my power. And I give my power away every single time I react.
Every time.
I'm out of control. Technically, when I'm reacting in a hostile manner, I'm out of control, and everyone around me view me as being very emotional, out of control. And some people will not even talk with you or have any relationship with you because you are out of control. No one wants to be around a person that is out of control. But you know why? Because it rattles their norm, and they don't know how to respond. I only know how to respond according to my norm. But out of that norm, then I have to change and try to figure out how I can communicate with you in a total different norm beyond mine. And it's going to cause trauma.
It's going to cause trauma again, because like you said, it's two different people coming together.
That's right.
It's two different point of views. And like you said, because I love how you said this in the book, how everybody is living in their own world in the same place.
That's right.
So like, you can't call somebody abusive, but that's how they live in their world.
That's right.
You put yourself in there without first information on it.
Yeah, because you don't really know. I mean, you know, because basically I live in my own world. Everyone, we can have a plurality of worlds, where everyone lives in their own world. And I don't know what consists in your world. You don't know what consists in mine. And so here it is in my world. I'm used to this, and this. And so when you have something in your world that is opposite of what I have in my world, we have conflict. We do a tug of war, because in order for me to feel comfortable with you, I have to bring you in my world, which I control. So I can control the situation. And then here you are, you try to bring me in your world. And so oneness comes when it is a culmination of a one world. That means that both worlds have come together and come to a normal process that we can relate. And you're going to find out a lot of information about that in my relationship book, because I really talk a lot about that. And I'm just going to kind of divert a little bit. One of the things I hear a lot of people say, players. What is a player? A guy has an opportunity to date as many women as he wants to in the dating process. Women do too, but by nature, women feel as though that when you show interest in me, you're my husband, and everything we do at that point is from a marital standpoint, when it's not. And so one of the good things that I want to make sure that I point out is the different stages of relationships, so that you'll know what stage you're in and how to relate. So player, that doesn't exist. This guy is free if he's in the dating process, not married, but if he's in the dating process, he is free to date whomever he chooses to date and how many women. And it's no timeline, a time limit. But a lot of times we as women, you know, when we sexually involve ourselves, because technically sex was actually what? For the husband and the wife to enjoy, yeah, and to procreate and have children. But here it is, we have taken it out of context. So women by nature feel as though sexually, I'm going to do what? If I give my body, then you're my husband. And the man is like, we just had sex. That's not a big deal. Yeah. So we can cause a lot of traumatic experiences to occur in our life by the way our mindset and the way we think. And so in the book on inner healing, it really is you coming to terms with other worlds that function differently from your world. And as you're healing, you're coming outside of your world and start looking at other worlds. Other worlds, you see it differently. I'm looking at other worlds, so I'm seeing worlds differently. And the people represent those worlds. And so I find abuse that is a lot of times is someone norm. You know, I heard a family member say, oh, that's how we talk to one another. They were cursing one another out at the barbecue, and they said, oh, Carol, that's just how we talk to one another. That doesn't mean anything. And they're saying these harsh, abusive words. Well, I'm like, wait a minute here. I don't even want to be around this. I'm uncomfortable with that. Not that I haven't heard curse words before, but I'm uncomfortable with the verbal aggression, and these people are norm. So in their world, which is a generational curse when all of them are doing the same thing, that's how they function. To me, I found it abusive because that's not the way I want to function. Yeah. Now, I could come from that world, but I'm no longer a part of that world. So I've come out of that world. I'm in a different world. I don't want to be around that. Exactly. And so therefore, I'm like, these people are abusive to one another. And that's just the way they talk to one another. So you have to learn people. And we jump into relationships, even girlfriend relationship, even guy friend relationship. We find a commonality. We jump into these relationships with these people, and we form these unhealthy attachments. And then, and now that I have really wrote this book on childhood scars, I can pick up on those unhealthy attachments so quickly now that I'm just like, wow, how friends will say certain things to edify themselves because they're insecure with you. I call them daggers, where they dag in and try to bring you out. You know how when you dig in the ditch and you take all this stuff and throw it out so that you can now fill it with the components that you want in that ditch. And how you want it, because the soul is already a certain way. But when I dig into that ditch, I'm changing the soul. I'm changing the whole surrounding of the way it used to be. Why? Because I feel now that I'm insecure, but I want to feel superior. So every time I can throw a dag at you, I start feeling better about myself. But it's an insecurity. And it is a traumatic experience you're experiencing when people throwing you daggers. And I was looking the other day at one of my friends. I think that was Tuesday, throwing daggers. We were all just out having lunch, and she was throwing daggers at one of her girlfriends. And the girlfriend was laughing, and to me it was very abusive. And I wanted to interject and something say, leave it alone, because I don't know the normal behavior of those two. Yeah. They're in a world by themselves. I don't know the normal behavior, but some of the daggers that she was throwing, I thought it was I knew immediately that it was jealousy and insecurity on her part. Well, you can always sense that, That's how you know it's not a healthy attachment, when you get those feelings. Yeah, because one thing about it is that we all have healthy emotions and unhealthy emotions. And so we can feel unhealthy. We feel those emotions, and we call them triggers, but they're abnormal emotions that we're feeling. And I believe that friendships are definitely needed, especially male, female. I think they're needed, but you have to make sure they're balanced and respected. And so when you have a friend that's throwing daggers or saying things, and you're saying it to me to try to make me feel that you're superior to that person, but you're letting me know that you're not. You're letting me know that you're insecure, because if I'm not elevating my girlfriend, she's not a girlfriend. Exactly.
Because again, any relationship you have is beneficial.
That's right.
Friendships,
That's right. That's right.
Relationships, it's got to be beneficial on both ends.
That's right. Well, we come into a relationship because it's based on need.
Yeah.
And so you should, that relationship, both of you also should be feeling the need fulfillment in each person. And that's how relationships break up, because there's no more fulfillment. I no longer need you. I'm not getting fulfilled in a relationship with you, so I move on.
Exactly. So again, that's when you realize that, you know, that attachment is no longer healthy.
That's right.
Because again, the relationships have deaths as well. Like you know when your feelings for that person are gone.
That's
but
right.
You're still there.
That's right. And you're still there because it's still a need. Even an unhealthy attachment is a need. It's something in that relationship that you have convinced yourself that you need. When we have survival techniques in all of us. How do you think that the people that first came on this earth survived? They didn't have air conditioning. They didn't have technology. They didn't have all these things that we have. But they survived. And they lived long lives, longer than we live right now with all of the technology.
That's right. How
did they survive? Right here mentally.
Yeah, instincts.
Their mental capacity and their stamina and their strength and their stay-to-itiveness. And you know, we give up on relationship too soon. But we have to train them for the beginning how to treat us.
Yeah. And
so a lot of times when we are complaining to them, we're teaching them that we have an abnormal relationship with that in ourselves. Because if you're healthy, you're not going to allow daggers. You're going to correct them immediately. You're going to correct them immediately and say, well, you know what? Embarrass some of these people when they throw in daggers. Say, you know what? Why in the world you're talking about? And right there in front of everyone, say, okay, 3 of us have wigs on. And why are you talking about when I had my wig on, how my hair looked? It's the reason why I have the wig on now. I want my presentation to look a certain way. Right. And so can you explain to every one of us here why you choose to say what you just said? Because I'm clueless. I'm trying to understand, as I am sure everyone else is. That's going to stop it.
Yeah, right there. You got it.
That's going to stop it. I'm going to tell you right now, when I was, I'm recently retired, but when I was working at, and I had a student came into my office complaining about one of the professors that was under my leadership. And I told the student, I said, excuse me 1 minute. And I called him to come to the office. And she was puzzled about, I wonder who she's calling. So when he came in, now I'm just going to use a word, a synonym here. And I said, Professor Aiden, I said to him, I said, this is one of your students right here. And I would like for you to come join in the conversation. The student said, how dare you call him? If I wanted him in here, I would have. Now notice I. And I said to her, I can't defend him and you can't defend him. So I need him to be able to get to the solution to this matter. I need his voice just as well as I'm hearing your voice. And we're going to come to a conclusion, because now I got 2 voices. But before I just said your voice. So in the back of my mind, I'm thinking all along, how did he contribute to this? Now that I have him in here, I know. And so boy, she's about to leave out. I said, if you leave out the great stand that you're complaining about, I said, you're going to have to support your argument. You have an argument, you're going to have to support that argument. And I said, and until you can support that argument, your argument is not an argument, it's an opinion. But if you can support it, you have something to argue about. So we got to the root matter of that. So we have to just really be people of purpose and be able to have that strength, and to be able to, if you're going to have an argument, know how you can have an argument without being argumentative.
That's right. So
be able to talk about it. We have anyone that have any questions?
Oh yeah.
Okay.
Let me check. See if we got any questions here.
Okay. I don't want to just.
Oh yeah, we gotta do nonsense. Oh, she said, "Amen, sister." That's right. Okay, that's right, my sister. That's right.
Okay, we're live. If you have some questions, because it's like 1:08.
Yeah, you feel.
And I'm not trying to rush anyone, but I have a session with someone at 3 o'clock, and I'm in another different place.
I know a lot of y'all out there working. It's Friday.
I have some people that I have to counsellate on this afternoon, so I need to get back on the side, side of the water. So if you have a question, that's what we have this forum from the day. I'll be happy to answer any of your questions. But MVP,
I got something for you. I got some healing process suggestions for you here. This is what I got from chapter 18.
Okay.
Healing. It says again, you can either record or write. You know what I'm saying? What does a healed life look like?
Mm-hmm.
You can draw a picture of a healthier you.
Mm-hmm.
Picture a place you want to go and plan the process.
Mm-hmm.
Get started. Command your day.
Mm-hmm.
Today, I start the healing process. The childhood scars I had no control over, the trauma I fell victim to, today I look in awe of myself. Wow. Today I have become a healed person. You can watch motivational videos. 3 births in life: the mother's womb, from trauma, and birth of death. That was really deep. We definitely got to dive into that one. And anything suppressed will resurface later.
That's right. Anything suppressed. Can I read? I'm just looking at this here. There's a dark side of healing. Can I read that for you?
Oh yeah, please.
Oh. As soon as I said that and picked this up, oh, wait a minute. Okay, this has to be something everybody needs to hear.
Yeah.
Okay. The dark side of healing. Inner healing is not always easy because the intensity of the emotional traumatic experience may continue to regain inhabitation within the mind of the trauma victim. We begin to turn inward, blaming ourselves, feeling we are no longer good enough, unworthy, and will not enjoy life again. We trust and depend upon our life to give us what we deserve, but the experience of a traumatic event has given us a life we never expected, a life that betrayed us, a life that took our innocence. We promised ourselves that we will never trust anyone again. Surprisingly, you may discover that you don't trust yourself too. We begin to let our beliefs dictate our actions, and our body responds to our thoughts because we believe about ourselves become our reality. What we believe about ourselves becomes our reality. We have to change the mindset and the stinking thinking. You all are phenomenal individuals, phenomenal beings with a purpose that we need here on this earth. You have gifts, you got talents. We need that. This is a world that if we could put all of the gifts and talents of everyone, we will have a world beyond worlds. But we are fighting with one another. We have these insecurities because people are throwing daggers at us on a regular basis, and we're believing that, and it has distorted our self-identity. And so now we can't even get this book and begin the healing process because we don't believe that we can ever live beyond the traumatic experiences that someone else inflicted on you. I can sit here and tell you through my childhood all of the negative words that I was saying till I found myself saying some of the negative words to myself. But it was when I took a look at myself and said, you know what? You are wonderfully made. You are beautiful in his sight. Someone may not find me beautiful, and that's okay. I find me beautiful.
That's right.
And that's all that matters. Everyone was birthed on this earth to unite to that other one that complete them. But if we rush through the ones that don't complete us, because if a person is not validating who you are in their life, you're not a validation. You're not worthy. Because if a person, even a friend, even a girlfriend, if that girlfriend is not celebrating you, that's not your girlfriend. If someone is throwing you daggers, that's not your friend. And we sit here and let these people damage us to the point that we trust what they say over us. We have no identity. We have to reclaim that.
That's it.
We have to. It took me a while because when you have heard negative words a lot in your life, you start believing it, especially because everybody said, well, they all saying that they can't be. If everybody's saying that they can't be wrong. And I was in a meeting one time and everybody said, well, everybody believed that. And I said, well, it's not true. Mm-hmm. And I supported my argument to show them. And I'm going to tell you this right here. And this is no fabrication. It was over 100 of them that they had did this presentation, and they did not present the purpose of what they was trying to communicate to us. Mm. And I always do my homework, and I said, that's not true with you all are saying. And wow, they came up. Don't come present something to me. You have to make sure when you present it to Dr. Robertson that it is correct. And I had did my homework, and I got up there and I taught what was missing. But and before I even got to say, it was over 100 that raised that you're wrong. Not that I'm being arrogant here, but I stood. And one of the motivators is because my mom never listened to nothing I had to say. When I tried to explain, she didn't want to hear it. Yeah. And so that right there inside of me, I guess, triggered me. Yeah. And I always, every meeting. And how did I get to that? Because I was in one of the meetings that I was presenting and I didn't know everything about it. Right. And someone corrected me. And when I went back to my office and researched everything he said, it was true. So a lot of the things that people are saying to you about you, not even a lot, all of them that they're saying negative about you is not true. That's right. Even if you display some negative behavior, it's a root to that. Find out what it is. You can call me for coaching. It's right there on my website, auntiesand.com. Or you can buy the books. Now, the book right here is going to give you the information about trauma. It's not just definitions alone, but I am an educator. So the first couple of chapters, I'm explaining what I'm going to say later. I had my girlfriend yesterday. She told me, she said, the first couple of chapters, I'm going to tell you right now, Sandra, they were boring. Well, it was boring because it's educationally. Yeah. I had to explain to you what the definition of trauma is and all of the, so that as you're reading along, you understand what you're reading and you know the definition of it. And then when you get into, I think, 4 or 5, I start getting into the meat of different traumatic experiences and giving you, some examples of some things that happen in people's lives. Now, in this book, in the workbook that you really wanted me to talk about. Yeah, really the workbook, because we express that importance. We talk about mindfulness, recording activity, how you, like I said about the recording, and that you notice any changes in your emotions. How you going to change something that you really it has become a pattern? So how are you going to know if you need to make some changes? By listening to the recording or rereading some things that you journaled in your journal. And so, and then describe what you see different from your norm and what was really emotional. And write down everything you learned about yourself, and explain if there are things you are willing to change if necessary. Some things you say, oh, I'm strong, I'm growing. And some things you may say, you know what, I need to change some things. Yeah. I thought I was here, but I'm really not. So in the workbook, note taking is already there for you. Right. You have a mindfulness exercise. I give you, at every one of the chapters, I give you an activity to do. And it is a question and an answer. So that's part of the education part of me, but it's not a lot intense. It's just what you have learned from the chapter. And one of them in chapter 9, it says, how does a person discover their inner self? And what does self-identity mean to you? And how is pain different from suffering? And what are childhood disillusionments a person faces transitioning into adulthood, which is actually was in chapter 7. And then I give you an activity to do. And so this, what is these activities for? It's helping you to transform into a new you, a new healthier you. Because now we're replacing all of those old traumatic experiences, and we're actually now bringing in new experiences, showing you how the traumatic experience was not there to kill you or destroy you. It happened, it's part of life, but from that, you're going to become stronger. You're going to become bolder. Your self-confidence, your self-esteem is going to be, you're going to be a You're gonna be different. Are you transformed from reading these books?
I'm a whole different animal. Man, same beast with a different animal.
Why me? I ask God all the time, why you chose me? He said you had the most trauma.
Yeah, I mean, you can tell me some of the stories. Yeah.
Oh my God, the trauma. In one of the chapters I was reading last night, had this woman. She was married for 25 years.
Yeah. Oh, that's the one I'm about to talk about. That one.
Oh, she was married for 25 years, and within those years, 15 of the 25 years, it was a disconnect.
Mm-hmm.
It was a disconnect. And so she stayed in the relationship because generational, they don't get divorces. Yep. So here she's in this abusive relationship, 15 years, 3 children, mm-hmm. and think about the children, what they encountered from her emotions. Yeah. And so here it is, this man, you know, a surgeon, you know, she's one of my friends that exercise with me. And so she was unhappy for 15 years, but she went along with it because she didn't want to break up her family. She didn't want her children to be brought up like she was with, you know, with a stepfather. My stepfather was great, but you know, some people are not as fortunate. And toward the end, he was getting to the point where he really could not deal with it any longer. Mm-hmm. He waited till his last child graduated. He had already made up in his mind, I'm leaving here after the last child graduates. Yep. And he was having affairs and doing all of these things. Mm-hmm. So what he did was to make sure that the kids did not disengage with him. He took her on a vacation. Mm. And you have to read the book. And he poured out the stops. Man. And that was only to clear his conscience. And he left her. And she went into depression for 5 years. Yep. For 5 years, she existed. She didn't even live. She existed. Mm-hmm. And she felt a lump in her breast and didn't even go to the doctor. She just wanted to die. Mm. And she told it to her daughter, Amanda, and Amanda said, you are going to the doctor. After 2 years, she suffered what she finally told her because it had gotten enlarged and it started really hurting her. And Amanda put her clothes on, called the doctor. Luckily for her, she got an appointment that day. It was cancerous. Amanda forced her to get the treatment. And it was, and it did show you that it's always something good that will happen out of a bad situation. And so finally, Amanda got there and couldn't take her to go get a prescription because Amanda did everything. But Amanda had 4 kids. And Amanda could not take her to go into the pharmacist to pick up her medication. So she went to the pharmacist, mm-hmm. and she had not been out of the house for 5 years. Her daughter did everything for her. And so finally she goes to the pharmacist, and this man walked up and he said to her, you in line? Can I sit there? And she said, yes, you can. So he sit next to her and they start talking and crafted the conversation. Then they start dating. And guess what? She married him. And this guy is phenomenal. This was the man she was supposed to marry all alone. Well, let me not say that because it was a reason why she got with that person. Mm-hmm. But anyway, 5 years. That's a long time. She gave up life. And she was not even going to come outside of the house. But when her grandchildren seen it, they were so excited because she was so close to them. And one of her granddaughters said, well, I got a recital, Grandmama. You got to go. You got to go. And so she went on. And it was because of that granddaughter is what kind of helped her to get out of the house. Because mm-hmm. prior to this, she wouldn't go nowhere. And if it wasn't for her daughter cooking for her, she wouldn't even eat. And so then after she became healthy, she looked on Facebook. And her husband had been married here for over 4 years. No, 5 years. Because as soon as he left her, he remarried a couple of months later. Yeah. And everywhere that it took her years for him to take her, he took the new wife within a year. Yep. Men change for the women that they want. Women change for the men that they want. Mm. So when women put the brakes on you, they just not in that relationship because they love you. Because when you love a man, you're gonna do everything that within your power to please him. Mm-hmm. And the man is gonna move heaven and hell to please you. I'm saying that through my son and his friends. Yeah, right. I really didn't know men really loved that deeply until I start seeing my son's friends. I'm like, man, I really love this thing.
Yeah. It's it. Yeah.
I mean, move heaven and hell, okay?
It's a special thing.
And so, you know, just make sure that you stay healthy.
Yeah.
The books are very, very, these are very good resources that I was led to write. Yeah. To this day, a lot of times, if some things come across my path that are challenging to me, because this is life and life is full of challenges, mm-hmm. I will go back and read my books. I have my books marked up just like you all do. Yep. I go back and I'm in awe, like, I wrote this.
Yeah, this is amazing. Like,
I wrote this, and especially chapter 16, released from mental imprisonment. I was in mental imprisonment for 60 years. I'm going to tell you right now. Like, and after really reading that, I said, wow, I had to be under a stronger note to write that, because that chapter is so powerful. So these are some real good resources that you can get to aid in your healing process. Mm-hmm. Again, I say aid in your healing process, right. Because trauma is something that is, you're going to have it for a lifetime.
That's right.
You know, it's not something that but you can heal through the processes. And what is healing? Healing is managing your emotions.
Managing your emotions.
You're going to learn how to manage your emotions. Any questions or anything that?
Wow, that was just, that was, I really try to express to y'all that book will really change your life. Really, really change your life. Like, it's just something that you didn't know that you needed, that you really needed. Like,
mm-hmm.
You see that, especially mental imprisonment, y'all. I was in the mental, so I just got out of there when I read the book. I ain't gonna lie. They gave me the key. I said, oh. It happened probably like when I started reading, honestly. Let's see, the chapter 19, just a little bit, teach me how to love me.
Okay, teach me how to love me.
Yeah, I got some great examples for y'all too at the end of this. I got y'all.
Okay. Teach me how to love me begins with having selfish love. Focusing on your needs and fulfilling your desires to the best of your ability. We often give to others, focusing on their needs, and sometimes neglect our own needs. We fear and we say no to people when they ask us to give them something, that we're being selfish. But loving yourself is being selfish. Mm-hmm. And I'm going to pause right there. Putting your needs before others is essential for your well-being. To live your best life, you must ensure all your needs are met before giving to others. It is not selfish to say to someone, no, before you make sure you are in a healthy position to give. When you, and everyone want to say selfish is negative. Selfishness is not a negative state of being. Although we have a negative reaction when we say no to people, selfishness is me taking care of myself first. Mm-hmm. I complete me, and then I can help you. I can't complete you, but I can help you. Selfishness is making sure that I have become one within myself, that I love myself, that I nurture myself, that I protect myself, that I allow myself to grow. And as I become one within myself, I can help you find yourself in me. You have to find yourself in me, because that's what's going to draw you to me. Mm-hmm. And so I've heard a lot of people say, well, you got millions of dollars, you're supposed to be doing this, you're supposed to be doing that. No one is supposed to take care of no one in that regard until they have taken care of themselves.
That's right.
Everyone here is put on this earth to satisfy a need in someone. But once you have satisfied their needs, in other words, once I have taken care of you for 18 years, mm-hmm. I should have equipped you within that 18 years to take care of yourself. I'm not supposed to be taking care of you until you're 90 years old.
That's right now.
Because I limit your growth.
That's right.
And I'll start mine. Exactly. Because I cannot continue to grow if I have stunt your growth. That's because right. You're not holding on to me.
That's right.
And I can't move forward if somebody is holding on to me. So I impart into you what I can to equip you so that you will be equipped to take care of yourself.
That's right.
So selfishness is not a bad thing.
It's not, y'all.
I just don't see where it came from, unless it was someone that was trying to control someone else. And in order to control someone else, they had to make them feel bad about themselves. So here it is, you give. And I know, being the oldest child in my family,
Dang.
And so here it is. I gave and gave and gave and gave and gave. And then, and family and friends, I gave, gave. And everyone's going to go through a season. I don't want to say lack, but a season that's going to get your attention. And a lot of those people were in the background saying, oh, she's going to fall now. She's going to fall. And I'm like, what? Oh, she's going to lose this. How much? And they were waiting anxiously in my demise. If you want to know pain, that was pain. And I said, why? When I have supported them financially, spiritually, emotionally, that they would think that way. And that's because I had not found my true identity. I allowed my true identity to resonate in them. And they never knew the true me. They knew what I could give them. But I had never really formed a relationship with them. All I did was gave. So they never bonded with me. Even family members never bonded with me. They never was a member because I had not selfishly taken care of myself. I was too busy imparting it to someone else that I never found myself until I had to let them go. And that's when I found me. And I love me now more than ever. So now I validate my family and friends into my life. Everybody came into my life like they used to.
That's right.
I used to let everybody in and give to everybody. It was nothing for me to give girlfriends, children, clothes and money and everything. And that's what everybody seen me as money. No one seen the true Sandra Robertson.
That's right.
Everyone seen money. And now I thank God for healthy relationships because I'm healthy. So if you are not selfishly taking care of yourself, you're not healthy. And that's something that the workbook is going to help you do. Come into oneness when you're with yourself. And when you can come into oneness with yourself, you're ready to have relationships.
Ooh, that's when you're ready, yo. You can't rush that.
You cannot rush it.
You got to love yourself first before you love somebody else.
You know why? Because you're not going to allow yourself to open the door to unhealthy attachments or to people who don't celebrate you. When I approach you, you should celebrate me.
That's right.
Because I come to bring you more life. And if you don't, you take away life from me. So can't do that anymore. I protect that.
I'm glad you said that too. That's something that a lot of people don't talk about because people be mad at them for living when they're dying. You don't have an illness or anything, but you're dying the way you living.
We have a hurting, I'm almost in tears. We have a hurt in America. Because we listen to the negativity and the jealousies of other people. And we give, because I was taught to give. No, I wasn't taught to receive. I didn't even think about receiving. I got joy in giving because God had blessed me so much financially. I didn't lack for anything. So I didn't want anything from anyone. And then God said, okay, I'm going to let you see who love you. And when I came home, retired, and seeing that I was making that big, huge six-figure income because retirement money will blow you away. That's when I realized that these people were like, oh, yeah, she's going to lose all her cars. And she's not going to be able to wear them designer clothes. And I'm like, what? I still have all three of my Mercedes. Nothing really has changed.
That's right.
But she traded one car in so she can have two. I still have three. Nothing has changed in my life because I started, you know what, I wasn't giving to them, so I found that I have more money. I have more money. So we got to get into the point that we heal from these traumatic experiences and stop letting people control your life. I'm here as a living testimony. The people to whom I gave the most did not do one thing for me, but talk about me.
That's right.
We got to hear from them. And I pray for them. You know why? Because they need healing. They need healing.
That's right.
They need healing. And so we have to get to the point where we all take this trauma very seriously
Very.
and heal.
That's exciting. I know another question that just some of the gentlemen might have had that chimed in. I was telling them about the book.
Mm-hmm.
They were asking about when you let's say they say you talk with a woman and she's coming at you in a way to break you down instead of build you up. Like she's using offensive words, or if she is talking to you about something, it's something that's from the past that she can't get past. What advice would you have for a man that might be going through that? Like, is there anything he can do?
Don't go through it.
Oh.
Don't go through it.
Don't go through it?
Anytime someone talks to you in a tone that, now you have to get to the point where you have oneness within yourself. And when you have oneness within yourself, you know what you want and what you don't want.
Mm-hmm.
If someone cannot get past an offense that happened, that's a form of control.
Mm.
So to control you, they have to bring up things of the past that you did. You've probably already apologized about it.
Yeah.
If you didn't verbally apologize, you did something, because men don't always apologize. They'll go buy you something.
Yeah.
Kiss on you or whatever.
Yeah.
But he did something. You did something to let her know that you really was apologetic to your behavior. You solved that problem. Now, if she cannot get past that problem, that's not the person for you. And I know the person probably going to text me, call me, or whatever. Yeah. That's a form of control. Mm. That person is continuing to control you, and you're not going to get anywhere. Healthy relationships are growing. You know, they're not, because we all, no one is beyond. I mean, just a few minutes ago, you can say certain things to people. You're just in that little state of mind. Sometimes you're just feeling a little. Let that stuff go. We got a life to live. That's right. If I'm with you now and having this conversation with you, then I've forgiven you. So now, if it's something that I demand some respect about, then I'm going to say, okay, I'm just going to use the name Edward. I didn't like the way you said this to me. If you want to keep a relationship going with me, we're going to have to refrain from that type of behavior and that type of tone. Mm-hmm. And if that's going to be a problem, let me know. We can move on past that, because I'm not going to stay in a relationship where I feel harm in any way, and not just physical, but your words are very, very emotional to me, and I don't want to be. So just talk about it in a mature tone. But to keep saying, yeah, you did this 90 years ago, why we keep going back there? Because you want to control me. And that's what you're using to control me. I would not stay in a relationship with anyone that is still living back and causing stagnation in our relationship. We cannot grow beyond that. Right. So I'm gonna be honest with you. If you're emotionally involved and you say that you love this person, then let's talk about going beyond this. But I'm not going to continue to stay in a state of trauma, because that's where you want me to be. Let's move past that.
Let's move past that. I'm glad you said it, because we did have a lot of people, because again, there's a lot of men going through that situation.
Yeah, stop it.
Yeah, stop it. Yeah, because like you said, that's that oneness, because you want with yourself.
Yeah, where you going with it? It's a useless conversation.
Where
we going with it? Okay. You dated my best friend. Okay, I forgave you because I'm still talking to you. Because I wouldn't even be talking to you if it was something that was beyond my tolerance. Mm-hmm. You had a relationship with my best friend. I'm done with her, and I'm done with you, because I can't trust you. That's why I'm done.
That's right.
We're not going to even be talking at all. So what are we talking about? You done already did it. Mm-hmm. She done already did it. It's over with.
It's over with.
So let's move past this. This is how I feel, and set some boundaries, and let's respect the boundaries.
Let's respect the boundaries.
That's right.
I'm glad you gave some insight on
that. Yeah. We stay hostage, and the same thing with men. Do the same thing, ladies. I'm not ranking on you. It's a control thing, and you have to stay in control of yourself.
Stay in control of yourself. Mm-hmm. So let me say, like I said, and, another question I did want to ask you too.
Okay.
I'm trying to make sure I get it worded correctly. So, okay, this was talking about how you was talking about not letting people know who you with, because as I seen that a woman said that women go for men in relationships because they already done passed the test of the relationship. All they need to do is replace the woman, and then they can have that man. Like, basically, the woman, like anybody in a relationship, that's why women go for men in relationships. What would be your take on that? Is that an accurate statement?
I'm kind of confused about the statement, but because in the dating process, women should be dating other men. Mm. And the myth came in where men, well, read my book on relationships. I'm almost done with that.
Oh, yeah.
And it'll tell you how it came into being where, you know, because women were actually viewed as whores because whores used to have multiple men. So
Yeah.
if a woman was seen with a different man, then they was perceived as a whore. And then and during that culture, back in that time, it was frowned upon. You got a lot of rebuttal against that. Now it's a totally different, this is a totally different world.
Yeah.
I mean, it's healthy for women to date other men. I mean, now we have to think about the sexual ramifications of it. Now, if you having sex with multiple men and you get it's vice versa. That can happen vice versa. Then the health wise, that's going to be a problem. Yeah. If you use protection, hopefully you're using safe protection so that you can avoid that. Right. I mean, it's beautiful that if a man and woman can preserve themselves into marriage. It's beautiful. But to the one that's not going to happen, I'm not going to give you a life lesson on that. So, but I would say that the problem with women is that we meet a man and we think that that man has no other women, and that's not true. Men has tons of different women when they meet you. You're just one of them. You're just coming in line. You're just coming right on in line. And you have to know that so that you won't get so fixated and thinking that you're the only one. I tell my girlfriends this on a regular basis. Yeah. You're one of many. And they get mad with me, but you are. So if you go in and you know what you're going into, see, no one's going to tell you that. Women are going to just latch on you, especially if they have sexual relationship with you. You my husband. Yeah. No, you're not. Yeah. He is dating and he's free to date whomever he wants to. And you're free to date whomever you want to. Right. But if you choose to sit there and just wait on him while he's dating other women, then you can't beat him up and call him a player and abusive and a dog. He's not a dog. I mean, how am I going to know the perfect one for me if I only just stick with that one?
Exactly.
You have to date other people, and other people you learn more about what you want, what you don't want, what you like, what you don't like. And you come into oneness within relationships by having, you don't just have one girlfriend and just stick with her and don't talk to other women. You're not going to have just one guy friend. You're going to evolve in that. And as you have more friends, you become stronger, you learn, you grow, and you develop. That's the same thing in dating. Yeah. So I don't think that a woman, if you're in the dating process, I don't think that it should be oneness. I think it should be exploration. It's two stages of exploration: courtship and dating. Mm-hmm. Dating is exploration, where you're exploring your options. Now, when you make a commitment where you move in together, then you should not be dating other people, because you're saying, okay, I want to fixate my focus on you to see if you qualify for wife material. Yeah. But now in the commitment stage, you can break up because you say, nah, she's not wife material. But I'm not focusing on multiple females. I'm only sitting in on you.
That's right.
Okay. And then we go into, once I see you closer, I'm going to an engagement. An engagement, I'm involved in the family. I'm not involved in the family until the engagement stage. You may meet my family, but I'm not bringing you around as much as a person of interest until you get into that engagement stage. Sometime in the commitment you want to introduce, but in engagement, you're kind of like a fixture. We go to my mom every Saturday or every Sunday, whatever. And then marriage is different, and I'm going to talk about that in this relationship.
We can't wait for that one again.
Yeah, I'm covering it.
So we're going to summarize a little bit of what we discussed today so far.
Okay.
Again, in chapter 18, in regards to inner healing, we were speaking in regards to, again, how many people, they have their own worlds, but we're all in the same place.
That's right.
So when you invite yourself to somebody else's world, you got to experience their world and see if that's for you.
That's right.
And vice versa, same thing. Then those worlds can coexist, that can come together, it can create a oneness.
That's right.
Where I can be going from dating to courtship.
That's right.
That's the transition to that right there. You experience their world, you want to be a part of it. In regards to inner healing as well, it also is going to cure your insecurities and build your confidence. Everything comes back to your confidence. And when you're a confident person, you're not going to deal with, people throwing daggers at you. You're not going to deal with unhealthy attachments. And you're going to make sure that you are in the best relationship possible that's going to benefit you, because again, confidence attracts other people that's confident.
That's right.
So that's something that inner healing is going to do for you. That's the main thing I got from it. It's going to give you that confidence back in yourself.
That's right.
Take control.
That's right.
And then also teach me how to love me. You got to love you, have that, be selfish, have that oneness.
That's right.
In order to find love.
That's right.
Because again, if you don't have that before,
that's right.
then you're not going to be in a healthy attachment.
No, you're not.
It's just going to be unhealthy because again, you haven't found your boundaries yet.
That's right.
You haven't gained that confidence in yourself
That's
and that
right.
love that you need.
And you're only going to get that dating different people, not the same person.
That's it. People get caught up on the one person, like experience life. But I said, life has a lot for you to experience before
That's
you
right.
get tied down to that one
That's
person.
right.
Because you got to make sure.
That's right.
Because again, your time is valuable.
That's right.
And you want to make sure that again that relationship is going to be beneficial for the long term.
That's right.
Not for a short period of time.
That's
the whole
right.
time.
Yeah. Because when I fell in love, who fell in love? I did. These were all my feelings, all of my emotions. I'm going to say it was reciprocated. I can't say it was shared. How do you share love? It was reciprocated. The person showed me that they had strong feelings for me as well. And the more I start really, really, really loving this person, I started changing me. How did I start changing me? I needed to change, and that person's love helped me change. That person's love helped me see a totally different me that I didn't know exists. So I started, in that oneness, you both evolved into oneness because I evolved into me that I never knew exists. And I grow and I develop and I become a stronger woman.
That's right.
You know, love. I'm in this here with I said the definition. What is the definition? Love, 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 love. I can write these words several times and still don't know what it means until I experience it. As I started my journey searching for true definition, I found so many different definitions that it became complex. They were vague expressions. Some describe love from a sexual point of view. Some describe love from an emotional point of view. Some even describe love from a behavior point of view. And all of this intimacy and passion and commitment and pleasure feeling. But love is that deep emotion that you feel within yourself. And you know someone loves you because it complements what you already feel. And until you really, you know that one is he's calling you, you're calling him. Y'all want to be around each other. When you see each other, I can tell people when they love each other, the way they look at each other in the eyes, they just light up because the energy is so strong and so powerful. You can look in the mirror today and you should get excited about yourself. And if you're not, you haven't found love within. Love within will change your world, and it will discard all unhealthy attachments. Have a great day.
That's right, y'all. Oh my gosh. This that trauma. That might have came from your mama.
Yeah.
It caused all that drama. But this is why we got the book Childhood Scars here to heal us from that trauma, y'all. And then we need the workbook as well to replace the trauma with positive things. Positive things are going to help us move forward, y'all. But again, we doing more trauma talk. Look, again, it's going to be, we go on Facebook Live. Any question that you might have, please feel free to comment on anything. We'll get your questions answered for you. Again, if you want to know where to get the book from, www.auntiesand.com. Please get both. You have to get both. You cannot get one without the other. You need both.
You definitely need both. And I'm talking to everyone say, who are you talking? I'm talking to anyone who really need it, but I'm really talking from 40 years old and below, because you're still moldable. You still can actually make some changes. Not that in my age of 60 years old, you can't make changes. You really can, but you are really more susceptible to change within the young. Some people say, well, you really get ghetto and this, that, and the other. Well, I want you all to be able to relate to me at where you are.
That's right.
And then we'll just grow to where I am. So Dr. Robertson, I love you all, and I hope to see you all soon.
That's right, John. Again, you know you're rocking with the MVP, and again, it's good. Dr. Sandra Robertson, we did Trauma Talk, y'all. Appreciate y'all for tuning in. And again, this support and love, we thank you. But you know the word said with me, stay blessed, don't stress, and God and handle the rest.
Yes,
Until next time.